Notes for my December 2024 reading of a November 2024 autobiography of Cher. Today is Saturday, 21 December 2024. I am Tanis Presley, she, her, hers of Graceland. I'm going to talk through my book and reading notes for my December 2024 reading of an autobiography on music artist Cher, the Memoir Part 1 by Cher. November 2024, DEYST, HarperCollins First edition hardcover, ISBN in the video description. I started the book on Monday, 16 December 2024 and finished the book on Friday, 20 December 2024. It's 413 pages. It took me 5 days. Read 30 pages Monday, 80 pages Tuesday, 90 pages Wednesday, 100 pages Thursday, 113 pages Friday. It was a public library copy, Renton Highlands copy per due date when I checked it out. Mistakenly said Redmond Highlands on Monday, 16 December 2024 in the Critter Mealtime Lunch video that day. At the time it was like released, here it comes. I was number 15 on 39 copies when first released, meaning I was the first person of the King County Library System to read this copy, Renton Highlands, of the book. It is the first book I released in the 2024 year that I have read the same month or month after it was released. I have not, depending on date of release, it might be within a month, that kind of thing. But not same calendar month because it was November and this is December. So a month or two. I have not ever met the gal, Cher. I do not know the gal. And based on the content of her book, I would reckon she does not even know my name. I have, however, met a different female contralto, Alicia Keys, in the year 2000. A contralto is the lowest of female singing voices. So we've brought up female voice, so that does matter. And if the pitch or how sound or classification of a woman, but woman's singing voice matters for a definition of a woman. Cher and Alicia Keys may factor in there. But I have not met Cher. I have met Alicia Keys. Okay, book notes including construction and design. There were so this is the cover. It's a denser book. Medium font, like 1 to 1.25 spacing. I moved out a clip throughout. It took me less than 2 minutes a page consistently. And there are a few sections with pictures in it, but yeah, here's a section. And there's like the name of a song and or really kind of a common concept for each of the names of the chapter. And yeah, that's it. Oh, and then there's occasional yellow specks on pages, such as on the lower half of page 136. As I was the first patron to read this copy, I'm not sure if it is just a defect for this particular copy. I'm guessing this isn't a design thing. So I don't know how it got on there. It was a design thing. There's a little yellow speck. And there were a few of them. Not a lot. There were like maybe like 4 or 5 throughout the book, but I was like, I don't think that is how this was designed. But it is part of this particular copy. Okay. Reading notes. So I only flagged 4 things and I wrote a fair amount, so I'm going to move at a clip through this if I can. So it covers her marriage. So it covers like from before her birth and her family to her through to her marriages to 2 different men. In her first marriage to a man named Sonny Bono, she had a daughter named Chastity. In her second marriage to a man named Gregory Allman, she had a son named Elijah. So 1 child, 1 human offspring with 2 different men. And it goes through that. Word on the street is correct. She does use the term acerbic in the book. However, leave that one as a scavenger hunt for you to find. Acerbic is like something that can be bitter or sharp, but it can also be, yeah, it can be bitter or sharp. Okay. In the book, she said she would get skinny down to 98 pounds, page 276, spelled out and hyphenated as 98, so NINETY-EIGHT. Based on the pictures, then I would guess she was 5 feet and 10 inches tall, a typical female modeling height these days. That would yield a BMI of 14.1 and might explain some of her skinny hype. I have not ever weighed that little at my current height, 5 feet and 7.5 inches. I have not ever had a BMI that low. My lowest, for context, was 18.6, so I'm a chunky lady compared to Cher. a short lady. She's 5'10" and 98. The 104 to 108 pounds was kind of highlighted, and I was like, for the pictures, 5'10" fits, and the height fits for my current modeling. On page 319, the Golden Globe nomination for Best Actress in Musical and or Comedy category of TV shows. I was reading this book and trying to figure out what I was missing, and was like, something is off. Yes. The nomination and elsewhere in the book highlight that she was known for her comedy. Per my perspective, it did not translate to her writing style. Perhaps she is restating the obvious kind of comedy type, and it just went over my head. What does this all mean? Her writing might not match what she is like in person. The roles I have seen her in tend to have more of a warm tone. In this book, she takes more of a tear others down, hostile tone towards those she does not like, such as her treatment of Sonny, her former husband, kind of throughout the book. Yes, so it's kind of like... the comedy didn't come through, and the warm tone didn't really come through. So there's a reminder of there's a difference between how a person speaks and how a person writes, or at least in this or there can be, and in this case that's how it comes across. If this were a Cher killing me in my Elvis Presley type book, because I am Mrs. Elvis Presley, then perhaps she frames it in the book as I am not good enough for Elon Musk nor Caleb Dressel multiple times. And me, my Scotland, and Summer McIntosh are druggies, pages 332 to 335. McIntosh as McIntosh, my Scotland as Scotland, and me as Moss. Perhaps, then, Cher tries to kill me and my Elvis Presley with a movie about Michael Phelps and his wife, Nicole Johnson, in which Michael Phelps is framed as a higher quality performer than Elvis Presley, and Nicole Johnson is framed as a higher quality beauty queen than me, Mrs. Elvis Presley. If this book were written to convey Cher predicted me and everything about me, then it also follows that if I returned to science/mathematics, she would have no problem predicting me then/there either. Okay, so those are the written notes. Now there's a few things. Page 183, so she kind of came out of the blue, and Sonny had been very, he took care of himself and gave her a lot of things and a place to stay and stuff like that, and she kind of comes out of the blue and is like, he could have, quote, ended up hauling beef, unquote. And so she kind of like takes a slam at his status, like he's worth nothing more, or could be nothing like more. And I like thought of that Halloween Town 2 Calabar's Revenge scene with Elvis selling broomsticks, and I was like, is that the hallmark of a teardown type? They take in something that the person hasn't ever had and go, you're not worth more than blank. I am not that type. But I was like, foul play, if that is, it's indicative of a low quality individual. It doesn't have to be a female. Okay, and encountered it recently elsewhere. So that was the 2001 film Halloween Town 2 Calabar's Revenge. Page 187, she comments on that she had to, that for her, she got famous in Britain, not in America. And sometimes I wonder if that kind of stuff happens as a way of like people being like, you're not getting famous unless you give credit to like the continent that you come from. And for Britain, since she wrote the book in English and sings in English, it's kind of like to make sure she is capable of not always being insubordinate, right? She's gonna have to go, yeah, kind of thing. Because she does have a bit of a temper throughout, especially as a child. And so like, early on, it's kind of like, well, can she not be insubordinate, right? Then page 275, she gets this contract, and she does actually sign it, but she doesn't like the contract after she signed it. She's like, no, I don't want this anymore, right? But she does sign it in the first place, and then she goes on and complains about it for pages and pages and pages. And I was like, the person who tried to kick me out of the University of California, Berkeley with a letter, tried to enter me in a contract without my consent, without me signing. And I was like, people on top got it easy. And they're so privileged. I was like, that could go, even from my perspective, it could have gone a worse way. But I've been through the much more horrifying case of, I did not even sign the contract. She had the privilege of getting it wrong. She did not read the fine print before she signed it, so to speak. The America's Next Top Model thing of like, make sure to read the fine print. That Cher did not do that, but then she's like, everybody else is to blame. There's worse things than what you went through, honey. And I'm what, 50 years younger, something like that. All right, and then page 393, happy note. Her favorite candy bar is a Snickers bar. Her favorite chocolate bar is a Snickers bar. There we go. In conclusion, and marked full book number 74 for me for the 2024 year. For my own autobiography, changes in response to this book, dropped Believe by Cher. She doesn't need to be in my autobiography, and her music doesn't, or anything she's done. And add Hound Dog by Elvis Presley, as well as No One by Alicia Keys. I've already discussed the Hound Dog edition. It's a My Dad inclusive edition. I still Believe was tied to my dad, so Hound Dog is tied to my dad. So, and more like there's more history there that keeps him built up in a positive way. The Elvis Presley, and as for Alicia Keys, she and Cher are both contraltos. I have only met Alicia Keys in person, not Cher. So Cher got knocked out by Alicia Keys. Pew, pew. I care about Tanis. Okay. I might add British singer LaRue and her 2009 song I'm Not Your Toy for good measure. What would I rate this book? I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was a golden standard good book. You know, like sometimes there's like a bad book, or an atrocious book, or an abysmal book, or a good book, or a great book, or an excellent, and there's like a golden standard within those different. This is a 5 out of 5. Like, this is the golden standard good book it was a golden standard good book from my perspective. So that was past tense because I finished the book already. So those are my notes for my December 2024 reading of a November 2024 autobiography of Cher.